What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in. Today we have another really exciting unboxing to dig into for you guys. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it, everyone. It really helps push the video out there so more people can check the video out. And feel free to let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. So we have a knife here coming in from a company called Pickled Steel. Now this will be the second knife that we have checked out from them. We can bring out the first one here in a moment, but let's get this thing out of here and check it out. We have a nice zippered pouch here. And then we have a microfiber cloth, some extra hardware, extra pocket clip, nice little touch, and they got their little logo there on the front of the pouch. And then we have our knife here, going to be housed in a cellophane baggie. We'll take a little closer look at this guy. Now, I believe this is called the Capilavaro. So, the Pickled Steel Capilavaro. And this is a very interesting looking knife. One thing I can say about Miguel Hetzel's design language is he really prefers an ergonomic handle. Between this one and the first one there, they are just extremely comfortable. One thing I would love to see is an additional backspacer in here opposed to the standoffs. I think that would add to the ergonomics because we have beautiful contoured micarta handles here. I think in addition to that, if we had a micarta backspacer, oh my goodness, this thing would be, it's really comfortable as it sits, but it would just be even more comfortable, right? And then here we have a ultra deep carry clip going to be mounted on the butt end of the knife by a single screw there, but it is going to be between the liner and the micarta there. It's also going to be reversible, so our left-hand brothers out there can carry this as well, so great touch. One thing I would, aesthetically, I wouldn't mind if the Miguel Hetzel wasn't on this pocket clip because this pocket clip is really good looking. Very subtle. It works good. I like it. I wouldn't mind seeing his name, in place up here instead of the name of the knife. Just have the steel marking, the designer, and be done with it and keep the pocket clip clean. I think that would be, some great insight for the future. We do have a flipper tab for the deployment, and man, oh man, does that work really, really well. That flipper tab has a great design to it. It's got nice jimping, and then it comes straight out, so it's a perfect landing spot for your finger, and you can get right out on the edge of this thing and really fire that guy out. So the detent is tuned very well for that flipper tab. Can we push button it? Oh yeah, easy. So the push button is going to work very well. So we have a recurved drop point style of blade here. Now, this may not be everyone's cup of tea. You're either going to love this blade shape or you're going to hate it. And a lot of people will hate a recurve because of the sharpening aspect of it. If it's not too crazy, I don't see a massive issue with certain recurves. Now, when they get very wild, I definitely can see it. And I can see it even with a, just subtle recurve. But this one, if you practice, I think, you can easily touch the edge up without, it being a massive problem. Now, this blade looks really cool. So we have what almost feels like it is a two-tone style of finish. So this is going to have kind of like a tumble to it where the primary here and this flat are going to have like a satin finish to it. So the flat here has a hand satin. The primary here has a belt satin, and then this is kind of like a very light tumble, so it really looks good. And then we have these orange pivot collars here, and the pivots stand a little proud, which that's a unique look to this knife. While we're talking about some of the features here, why don't we take a look and see what this guy looks like in the pocket here. It should carry very nice, very deep in the pocket. You won't see much, if any, of this knife poking out, which is great in some instances. And in the case of this knife, being a design for deep carry, it's going to work very good. And that pocket clip is a great design. There's not a lot going on with it, you know, but it's very simplistic in the sense that it just plain works for a good pocket clip. And it also is going to feel very good in hand. Because of the way this is designed and the way that it dies off, as soon as it goes up, it dies off there. That's going to be great for getting that over your pocket, and it's also going to be very good for in the hand. You're not going to, now depending on your hand, everybody's hands are different, but depending on your hand size, you're not going to feel that at all. It seems to tuck away into the webbing of your hand there very, very nicely, to the point where I don't actually feel that clip at all. Even bearing down, even pulling up, I don't feel that clip whatsoever. So that is very nice. As far as the liner, they give us a nice chamfer there. Easy to get to, easy to disengage. The blade is perfectly centered up there. And as far as lockup goes, it is about, let's get a flashlight and look. That's about 55% there, so a very solid lockup. There's no up and down play, and there's no side to side play. Is there any pivot lash? No, there's no pivot lash. And there is no detent lash either. So a very solid build there. Now, one thing I am really interested in doing with this guy is cutting. I want to see, it's been a while since I've had a recurve in, and let's see what this thing is all about. So let's start with the recurved area. And one thing recurves are going to be good for is keeping material trapped in that recurve area. Now, this isn't going to be a good demonstration because this is just kind of thin telephone book paper. But if we're talking about something that's a little bit denser, it's going to keep that material trapped in there very good. That primary here, guys, that is coming down very thin. I believe that is a hollow going there. So that is going to be one hell of a cutter up there. And this feels extremely thin where that recurve is as well. It's kind of hard to check that on telephone book paper. That primary is extremely, extremely sharp. Let's get a piece of cardboard, and I want to see what happens on a piece of cardboard. Okay, so now we got something a little denser here to kind of put this up against. Single wall, but very thick single. So let's see here. See, that's going to be a game changer, because once it kind of slides up, it's going to basically hold that there right before you get to that belly area. And that is going to work very good. Now, that's the thing I think about recurves like this, at least. They're going to be very good at doing certain things. But the sharpening aspect, I think, is what keeps a lot of people from picking one up. But at that rate, if something works really well, like a recurve does, at least in my mind, you know, I don't have a ton of free time as I work full time and I make videos, any other free time that I have, or I make content, different things. So it's kind of hard for me to have an extra curricular activity aside from hanging out with my family on any other free time. But, I would love to pick up some other recurves and, just finesse my way into figuring out how to sharpen them up. With as subtle as this one is, maybe not sharpening at least for me, but I think if you sharpen it, and I think that's probably what most people would do who use recurves and sharpen recurves, you basically just sharpen this as a second edge. So you'd sharpen the recurve here, stop there, sharpen, 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 and then you would sharpen this as a second edge, kind of like a tanto blade. Now, I don't know that, for 100% certainty. It might not be as simple as I'm saying it is, and it might, I don't know. I actually am very interested to kind of find out now, though, at this point, get this in a fixed angled system and kind of see what happens here at some point. But I do think that's going to be a great blade shape as a user. The ultimate question is going to be, can you touch it back up when it needs it, right? I think that's the ultimate question. Not is a recurve a good blade shape for EDC and stuff like that, because I think it is. But ultimately, when that edge gets dull, can you strop or sharpen it back up? That's going to be the final, key to picking one of these up. I think if you want to try out a recurve, if you want to learn how to sharpen, a recurve, or if you're just looking for something that's a lot different than the norm, something like this might be, an awesome option, a good option. We go over quite a bit more background info in the first video on pickled steel, but that company is out of South Africa, and a gentleman by the name of Aldo is the one who runs pickled steel, and he plans on making a very solid footprint in the knife community, in the knife world in general. So expect to see some bigger things coming from pickled steel very, very soon. And I look forward to it because the couple I've checked out from pickled steel are really, really cool designs, really unique designs to themselves, to pickled steel. They're doing something a little bit different than the next guy, which I really appreciate. You guys will have to let me know. What do you think of this pickled steel here? I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I always appreciate that. If you're new here, we release videos just like this one every single day. Hit the subscribe button, ring the little bell. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I'll throw up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.